Regardless of the type of maltreatment being suffered by a child or adolescent, psychologist with the assessment unit at the Children's Authority, Ahhalia Ramdass, said the risk for depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, sexualized behavior, impulsive behavior, aggression, and fighting increases.
We may have a tendency towards substance abuse as coping, right? Even absconsions. So children maybe are trying to now run away from the situation. So they up and they leave home and they seek a solace wherever they can find it. Or sometimes they may end up on the streets. So all of these things are potential impacts of untreated child abuse and child maltreatment.
She said parents and guardians must be mindful that abuse isn't just about physical marks.
That's the easiest thing to see. Right? It's a long-term impact. What is this doing to this child's self-esteem, to their self-concept? What is it doing to their mental health? And oftentimes they may learn negative coping as opposed to adaptive and healthy coping, just to get away from what they're experiencing. So we just want to be mindful. Academic decline is also something that we do tend to see a lot in our children. So when so many things are going on in their personal life, they've lost the ability to focus.
Ms. Ramdass said many are of the belief that children do not go through things like depression.
Even suicide ideation and suicide attempts. We tend to think that this is reserved for adults, because what do children know of taking their own life or feeling so down and so isolated and alone that they would take this action? But it is still a very real issue that our children and adolescents do face, and we have to be mindful of protecting them against these types of hurt.
She also pointed out that there is a difference between discipline and punishment. Ms. Ramdass said for too long, many parents and guardians have opted to use punishment when correcting a child or adolescent.
It's important for us to understand and recognize that just because we did something long time, just because, well, that happened to me and I turned out okay, that's not an excuse.
Ms. Ramdass said discipline and punishment, though used interchangeably, is not the same.
Because when you beat a child, what have they learned? In that moment, you're upset, you're screaming at the child, you're hitting the child. What are they learning? If you sit with your child and you talk through, okay, you did this, you knew that this was against the rules, you knew that if you did this, these would be the consequences, then you're able to explain, show the child where they went wrong, discuss what would have been an alternative, a better option for them to do.
She said the aim of discipline is to teach, guide, and to give an alternative to what they would have done. I'm Mahalia Joseph-Wharton, keeping tabs on your inner circle.